Welcome on to this edition of Up, and I'm so excited to welcome our next guest onto the podcast. We had him on in the build-up to the 2025 Comrades Marathon, and I think it is time for a debrief. And to be honest, I am so impressed with the way this young man ran his Comrades, and it's a warm welcome once again. Mensa, we've got Schalk Bezhuidenhout. Schalk, dudes,
Hello.
I'm in awe. For a novice to run the
Wow,
Comrades that
really?
you ran, you absolutely smoked it. Well done, mate.
Thank you. I actually just came back from my first run post Comrades. I took a good 2 weeks off. But yeah, wasn't a good one. I had like a scratch in my throat this morning. I'm maybe getting a bit sick, and my toe, the nail lifted, and I think over the last week it got an infection or something because my toe is really sore. But yeah, in hindsight, maybe shouldn't have run today. But I think after Comrades, I had such a lacquer race that I just really don't want to lose this fitness now. I don't want to chill for like a month and then have to start all over again.
Scott, I say you ran a great race. So you ran a 9:54:38. That's your official time. So Robert Machali on
Yeah.
debut. I know we spoke probably about a month or two before Comrades, but I think the thing that impressed me most when I look at these splits, and I don't think you understand the magnitude of what you've done here, but you went through halfway in 5:12. So through halfway at 5:12 and running a 9:54, I mean, you ran a massive, massive negative split. Tell me a little bit about your experience race day. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a few weeks now, and I think processing it after your first one is quite hard. But tell me what's going through your head now that the dust has settled and you've realized, you know what, I ran flipping 90 kilometers. This is incredible.
Well, first, when people at first said well done on your negative split, because I ran for Pirates and then the next day was the Pirates after party at Beechwood Hotel here in Belito, and everyone was like, congrats on your negative split, and I had no idea what it meant. So I just kept saying thank you. Eventually I realized it means that you run faster in the second half than the first half. I mean, I just thought that's what you were supposed to do.
It is what
It
you're
wasn't
supposed
like
to do. It is what you're supposed to do.
a tactic or anything. It's just that my dad, who was a very good runner back in the day, he didn't do a lot of Comrades, but when he was a lighty, he was like SAs. I think his specialty was 800 meters. And then after school, he just ran for leisure, but did quite a few, only 2 Comrades, but quite a few marathons. And his advice from when I started just doing half marathons was always, your second half must be faster than your first half. And then with the Comrades as well, he just said the biggest mistake people make, they start too quick out the gates. Which now that I've run it, I can see why, because you sing Shoza Loza, you're feeling good. Obviously, most people who run Comrades at that point, you're the fittest you've ever been. Your legs feel stronger than they've ever felt. And then on top of all of that, there's the gears. So, I mean, I can completely understand how people just you run and yeah, you just, and someone told me at the beginning, and other athletes told me the same. They said, take it easy. Run 7.5 in your first 40, 50 Ks. And the one girl said to me, she's like, it's going to kill you. It's going to kill you to run that slow because everything inside you is going to want to go faster, but just keep that discipline. Luckily, what helped me, well, I don't know if it helped me or didn't help me or whatever, but I'll just tell you what happened. So 5 Ks in, I was like, I need to go to the toilet. I'm not going to make the full 90 Ks. And then I also thought at this brief moment, just a side note, I just had this brief moment, what does Gerda Stein and them eat the night before? Because I ate a massive bowl of spaghetti bolognese, nah? That has to come out the next the next
What,
day.
what goes in must come out, Schalk.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, well, does Gerda just not eat the night before? Like, she eat a carrot and a strepsil. Like, what is she? Because they're not stopping, you know? Anyway, that's just a thought that went through my mind. But then I pulled into a porta potty. There was a bit of a queue as well. So now I'm standing there and I'm like, oh, shit, you know, like I know I've got 12 hours, but I do want to chase the sub 10. I don't want to lose. And, you know, it's like very frustrating losing time, standing still, waiting for a bathroom. But I thought, you know, maybe the further on in the race we go, the bathrooms are just going to get more and more. More people are going to want to go. So I thought, let me just wait it out now and do it. And I lost about 3 minutes just waiting. Another 2-3 minutes inside. By the time I came out, now because it was still at the beginning, I was pretty much in the very back. There was almost no one. Then I got such a skrik now because I thought, imagine they cut me off now. You know, like I thought maybe they you know, those buses are gonna go, listen, this guy, if he's this far back, 5Ks in, he's never gonna
No chance.
make. So then in my first 20Ks, it kind of like sent my whole game plan spiraling because I was gonna go so slow in the first 20Ks, especially. Because especially there's one time he said, like, your first 20K should be the slowest. But then I had to catch everyone, and I was like 5 minutes behind. So and you know, 5 minutes, that's 30 seconds over 10Ks, that's 30 seconds faster per kilometer. So if I wanted to run a 7 minute per kilometer, now I'm doing a 6.5. So then I had to put on some pace, and I remember thinking, like, I'm going too fast. I'm already going too fast in these first 20Ks because I thought if I can just catch the 10:30 bus, I just have to catch them, and then I can slack again. So that's what I did, and then I got, I think like 20Ks later. So then I was on like 2025. I caught the 10:30 bus, and then I just hung around there. But then I could like slow down. I met these three guys. Just that's the cool thing about the Comrades, but marathons as well. You just like run with this person, you know, start chatting. By the end of the race, it's like you've been lifelong friends
Buddies.
because you kind of went through this thing together. But they were like a crew of like these three friends, and the one guy had a little speaker in the back. And like, especially with the music playing, and yeah, they were cool guys. It was like a gees. And they also said to me, we it's also our first one. We also want to go for sub 10. So I said, okay, cool, let's do it. I'll keep us on track of, you know, and then on about 42Ks, I was going to wait till maybe 45 or maybe even 50Ks to break. But then I guess that's where like just the hunger came in and the adrenaline. And on 42, I thought, oh my word, I've done a marathon and I've never felt this good after a marathon. Normally after a marathon, I normally hit that wall in a marathon by like 30, 32. So I thought, geez, I'm way past that and I still feel good. And I was like, I'm going to go. And those guys, I think they realized then they're definitely not going to make a sub 10. The one ended up coming in like 11:30. So he said to me, Schalk, we are battling, dude, you go. And then I went. The only cuck thing was like it was quite cuck having to like you running with a little crew, and then you just by yourself on that uh, on the road. You know, like you've got no one to. It's just you. But at the same time, I think it was a little bit. It was good because I could just like focus. You know what? If you're chatting and kind of cracking jokes and stuff, you lose a bit of pace. I think, yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the last third, Schalk. I think particularly for novices, because you're going somewhere where you've never been before. Like for most people,
Yeah.
I don't know what your longest training run was in the build up to Comrades, but for most people, anything after 60, this is like new territory. They don't know what it's going to be like. What was the last 30Ks like for you? Because you ran well. I mean, you were obviously still able to run. I mean, we all saw at that stage in Comrades, but what was What was going through your mind? How did you get through that last 30 as well as you did?
Well, so I was a bit nervous because a lot of people do like a 50 at least, and a lot of people who do Comrades did the 2 oceans. And I didn't do any of that. My longest training run was in April when I was in Australia. I did a 40 the one day. I got 3 people who I knew in Melbourne. I said, can each of you just run 10 with me? So I had like a different partner for each 10. But my longest run was my Comrades qualifier in February, the Cape Peninsula Marathon. So 42. So I'd never gone over 42. So I'm like really from 42, I was in uncharted waters. But I don't know what it was thanks to, but I just had a really lacquer leg day that day. Like I didn't cramp. But I approached the race more preventatively, because and as a novice, you it's hard because I feel you should really listen to as much advice as you can. But even just at the starting line, the one lady told me, don't break before 45. The other, and then I spoke to another lady and I said, I'm going to wait till 45 to break. And then she's, no, 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 that's crazy. You must wait till 50 because from 45 to 50, there's a hill. And, you must listen to all the advice, but at the same time, also have to run your own race. But I think the best advice that I got when I was doing the qualifier, I ran with these 2 girls. The one had done it 7 times, the one 3 times. So the one said to me, Schalk, if I can just give you the simple advice, which I think anyone doing the Comrades it's so simple, but it was walk before you're tired, eat before you're hungry, drink before you're thirsty. And it makes sense because by the time you're thirsty, you should have actually had water long ago. So from the first water point, I drank water at every single water point. What was very lucky this year, I don't know how it was previous years, but Thirsty, the sponsor, had brought out like an energy drink as well. So normally I would also drink a lot of Coke, but I actually didn't drink a lot of Coke. I was just drinking that, it's like an Energade or Powerade with electrolytes and stuff. I every few Ks I took, I especially went to the salt to get salt pills the day before, which I've ended up forgetting. So then I was just doing salt packets, sachets. That was cock. But just it felt like swallowing seawater because you pour the salt in and then take a big sip of water to swallow it down. And then like once that like whooshes in your mouth, then it's just it's basically feels like you're swallowing a big gulp of seawater. So salt, someone told me it helps for cramping, so I thought let me take that preventatively as well. And then also from the 50K mark, every time I saw the ladies there with the blue gel who rub your legs, I would stop and just, especially normally it's my calves that cramp up, but with the Comrades, it was my upper legs. So I would just like stop, pull my pants up and just be like, please. And then just 1, 2. It's like a F1 pit stop, they're like those ladies, they're like 1, 2, and then you go again. So I did that as well. And I think that also helped. But I never reached that. The thing a lot of people say with Comrades is like at 60 or 70, they say you meet Jesus. I never had the meet Jesus moment. It never felt like I was like in a trance almost. But I ran like super focused, like really concentrating hard on keeping my pace and stuff. And my legs, they were tired and they were sore. But no, I wasn't in agony. So I think that was good. Yeah. And I didn't cramp.
I mean, we always say, Schalk, like that if you behave in the first third, you're able to run in the final third. You don't have to run fast, you're just able to run. And for so many people, they go out too hard. And then in that final 30Ks, they really struggle because they've blown their legs early on. And when the running is decent, there's a lot of down in that final third that if you are able to run, you can make up a lot of time. But Schalk, you obviously have had Comrades on your radar. You mentioned your dad has done a couple as well. You're a decent runner. You've got ability. There's no two ways about it. What surprised you about Comrades now that you've done it? I mean, obviously over the years you've seen it on TV. I don't know if you've ever been to the race before, but what surprised you? What didn't you think, or what happened that you didn't think would happen? If you're over 50 and want to recover from sessions faster, run pain and injury free, and improve your endurance, then be sure to join Lindsay and I for our upcoming Faster Beyond 50 Masterclass. In it, we'll show you how we helped a 70-year-old run a 47-minute, 18-second 10K and how you can take those exact same principles and apply them in your training. Simply scan the QR code that's on screen right now or click on the link in the description below to save your seat in the training now. We look forward to seeing you there.
I think one of the things that surprised me was just I've seen it before on TV, but when you run and you see the people running there, like it's really like normal average people who run, and I hope that other people who watch it on TV can see that it's not like your super athletes. Obviously the winners are, but my biggest thing I've told everyone after the Comrades, because the first thing that a lot of people say to you is like, oh, well done, I could never. And the only thing I've been saying to everyone is like, you can actually do the Comrades. If you put in the training, I really don't think it is that hard. It is hard, obviously, like how even running 400 meters at your best will be hard. But if you put in the time, but it's just K's on the legs. And I also, in my prep, I went for a very simple training program, just running. I didn't follow a diet. I didn't do strength training. I just would go run. And I live in Belito, so there are a lot of hills. So I just thought, okay, I won't be scared to take a route with some hills. But yeah, I didn't go to the gym or anything. And then on the day as well, I don't run with goose and all that stuff. It's just there's so much water and Coke and whatever along the road. There was bananas, potatoes. It's all you need, really.
Yep.
You don't need all the fancy stuff. And what helped me as well is, and it's probably not that good for you, but in my total miprodol intake was 6 for the Comrades.
That's definitely not good for you. That is not advisable. But I think, Schalk, one thing that I do need to add is that you are, ability-wise, genetics, you obviously got, you chose your parents well. Let me put it that way. Because, your dad was you mentioned the last time we chatted, your dad was a really good 800 runner. So there's obviously running genetics in the family, and that does help. So I think for the vast majority of people, I don't think, especially the average runner, and I agree with you 100%. I feel exactly the same way about Comrades. It is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it is doable. And I don't care who you are, what your background is, if you do the work, and it's not a ton of work, as you said, it's just consistency over a prolonged period of time, just showing up and doing the work. I personally believe anybody can run Comrades, and I'm probably the poster child of that. Like, if a dude who was 165 kgs decided he's going to run Comrades and ran Comrades, anybody can run Comrades. That's the truth of the matter. But the extra stuff, the nutrition, and I think for the vast majority of the field, strength training does help. You've got to get your nutrition dialed in. But you've just proved that you can go in there with this like low-key sort of approach to it, take the pressure off, and it is absolutely doable. Describe the last one. Yeah, sorry, do you want to add?
Yeah, no, I just want to say, like, obviously, if you're chasing crazy times, like for me, anything under 9 hours is you proper running. Then yes, like do the nutrition and stuff. But something that once again my dad said to me, he said, for the purposes, you must you must realize what purpose you're doing the Comrades for. And he's like, for your purposes, which was to finish. He's
To
like, you
box up.
don't need all that fancy stuff because that's for the more elite guys. And yes, I know I did better than just finishing because I thought, let me set a goal. I would not have been upset with myself if I ran it in 10 and a half or even 11 and a half. I just thought, here's a goal. I'm going to go for it. If I make it, I make it. And then luckily I made it. But to be honest, like, because I've done now my Comrades where I chased the time, like that second half, like I said, I was like super focused. The next one I would want to, which I felt because I was chasing the time, I missed out on a little bit. Uh, the next one I definitely want to take in and enjoy the fun aspect
Yeah.
of the Comrades more, because that first half before I broke, it was very, very fun.
Yeah.
Like, because you're running, but you're running quite slow, chatting,
Talking.
music. I and a lot of people said to me before, enjoy Comrades. It's one big fun run. That's what a lot of people say. It's a very long fun run, and I get it. Like, if you finishing between 11 and 12 hours, you're not putting your body and your legs under that much strain, and then it is like a
Some of
very,
us
very
were.
fun thing.
Some of us definitely were finishing between 11 and 12, putting our body under strain. But describe one thing. One thing I love about Comrades is that finish, and like just the sort of feeling of having done this. Describe the last couple of 100 meters for me. Like, what was going through your mind? What were you feeling? Like, describe that for me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, actually more on like 70, 80 Ks. I got quite emotional. Um, where I would start like just for small periods crying a little bit. It wasn't out of pain, it was more like emotional because at that point, especially when you get to like 80, when you get to 80 and now there's 10 Ks left, the way I was feeling, I'm like, I know I'm gonna finish. And at that point, when I'm looking at my watch and stuff, I was like, I think I am going to run my sub 10. So then I was quite emotional, just going, I know you shouldn't count your chickens before they hatch, but in a way, it's just like, oh my word, I can't believe I did this. Can't believe I made it. Oh, all those hours, because I was in Australia for the bulk of the heavy lifting training. It was really hard because ah, like doing a show the night before, waking up the next morning, going for a run. Sometimes I've had a bit of too much wine at the show. Now, like, my head's a bit sore, but I have to just like, and I just put on my tackies and go, especially doing 80 Ks a week. Oh, you can't read. Taking maybe one day off in a week, and the minimum you can do then to reach 80 is like a 10 or 15, and it's also like, it's boring as well. I made a video at some point talking about like my Comrades prep, and I was like, the thing that's getting me the most is just the boredom because if I run like sometimes I run without music. Eventually, geez, I don't even know what to think about anymore. Like I've thought about I've thought about everything in the universe.
Yeah.
And then music as well. Eventually, you get hot full of music. Eventually, I was like, I cannot listen to another song. I've listened to so much music now on the road, and then yes, there's almost like no cure for that. You just have to like go, and that's one thing I've really enjoyed about running. Always is like listen to some music and clear my mind and all that stuff. But when you run that much in a week, it's like, it gets a bit boring. But um, shit, I forgot. Oh yeah, then I got emotional, but then when I reached the finish, I was just happy. I wasn't. Yeah, I was just happy that I was finishing, and there's so much like people shouting and cheering and stuff at the end. So that was just joy. And then I think when I crossed that finish line, I felt really good. But then you cross, and then immediately you're standing still, um, waiting for your medal, and there was like a little bit of a queue. I waited probably like 2-3 minutes, and then as soon as I stood still, just like everything came, like kind of comes crashing down. It feels like your body kind of shuts down, and then I was just like, whoa, yeah. And then also like a little bit emotional, and then it's kind of just like almost like a baby that's crying just because he's tired, like overtired.
Yeah.
It was a little bit like that.
How chuffed was your dad?
Yeah, no, super proud because I told him before. I told him I think I'm gonna go for sub 10. His best was 9.5. And he said, okay, go for it. Um, the other reason I wanted to go for sub 10 as well is because I I wanted to give myself enough insurance for if my legs do blow, that I have 2 hours behind me. Because the last thing you want is just sticking with the 11:30 bus and then something happens. And I saw how quickly something can happen. Like my left toe is buggered because the nail started coming off, and then I pulled over. There was a medic, and I took off my sock, and he put a plaster over and wrapped it nice and tight, and then I ran on it. But there was a point where I was like, it's quite sore, and if it doesn't start feeling better very soon, I don't know if because I was kind of like hobbling.
Yeah.
So and then luckily it started working, the plaster, and I could run lacquer again. But the last thing you want is like something that's like just bothering you, like a toenail or something, and you're on 11.5 and you start going back. And I think that 12-hour creeps up on you pretty quickly.
It does.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience, it definitely does. And then Schalk, just to wrap things up, you said if you run it again, you want to turn it into a bit of a jewel. I'm going to ask the question everybody asks. You've done the down, or are you coming back for the up next year?
So I'd love to do my back-to-back, but I am on tour in Europe and UK the whole of Feb. And those tours are normally like every day, different city. It's also then still very much winter then in that part of the world. So
So it's a yes then. Is that what you're saying?
I know almost for a fact I won't be able to do much running in Feb. I can again in March and April run the way I did in Australia. So, I mean, you can tell me as a more experienced runner, do you think if I run a lot in Jan, take it easy in Feb, and then pick it up again hard in March, April, May, do you think that's doable?
Absolutely, especially with your abilities, Schalk. Like, I mean, you've proved this year you have got running ability. So you don't need to do crazy amounts, and you didn't. And I think that's probably one of the big things we can take out of your story is you don't have to run these massive long training runs. And this is across the board, whether you're a great runner or not. You don't have to be doing 50, 60, 70K training runs to run Comrades. What you did was enough. Obviously, you've got the ability, but you don't have to. And I think people fall into the trap of doing too much, and that's what gets them into trouble. So yeah, I mean, the short answer is absolutely. I think you can.
Okay, great. Yeah, then I might very well do it again. The lucky thing about being in Australia during Comrades prep is that when I wake up 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, South Africa is going to bed. So my whole day, I don't have any messages, emails to reply to. I can't talk to friends and family. Everyone's sleeping. So it is. I've just got this like free day. No one's bothering me. So it is quite ideal for Comrades training. Yeah. So maybe I will go for my back-to-back next year. I have a very like positive outlook on the Comrades now. I know some people do it and they're like one and done. Glad I did it, but I definitely got the Comrades infection, I definitely want to be one of those people that do 10 in my life.
Love it. Schalk, well done again. I think your race was
Thank you.
amazing. Yeah, I'm just so chuffed. Stoked for you that you had such a good experience. And again, you paced it perfectly. And yeah, well done. I think solid effort. Well done, bud.
Thanks, man.